The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDBTV.
Where my girls got the sweetest pussy.
Welcome to SinCityBounty.com. We are at a loss for what to talk about today.
No, we're not. We know what the fuck we're going to talk about today. It's just boring.
Maybe not so boring.
It probably won't be. But if you were expecting some major commentary about the shit going on in the news right now, go find an NPR podcast.
If we can make sure that Johnny's mic is live, then we would love to have him join in the conversation.
Hello.
We can't tell if you're live, so.
Yeah.
Can you tell if I'm live now?
There we go.
Oh my God.
Sorry for the feedback. But now we know for sure that Johnny Fever is on his mic and making sounds for the podcast.
Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Hello. Anybody out there? Are you folks alive?
Last week he says he made sure that the board was on, but his mic was off. So
Very off.
yeah. So we
But
got to yell
Johnny's
at him
always
today.
a little off.
Johnny is a little off.
That's why we like him.
So we had a couple of topics that we want to talk about today, but let's talk about what's in the news. Johnny Fever, you want to talk about, you mentioned something about the feud between Trump and the woman who was once in his administration?
Omarosa.
I think it's incredibly ironic and funny that two low-life scumbag individuals like that should be going at it.
So,
I mean, come on.
So for those of you who don't know, Omarosa?
Amorosa.
Amarosa?
Omarosa.
Omarosa
Yeah.
wrote a book. And in it she says that Trump is a racist and he would use the N-word all the time, or at least once. I don't know what she wrote in the book specifically, in her book. And my first thought was, how does that surprise anyone?
Yeah.
Really?
Why is anyone at this point surprised by literally anything that happens in this administration?
Right.
And the funny part is that someone had to tell him that because he doesn't know how to read.
Or doesn't choose to read.
So here's what I heard on my morning news and my take on it. So she has been making recordings of her phone calls, secret recordings, which she can never use in court, but are totally her recordings to use. And there'd be some, some people would argue that there's a violation of privacy, blah, blah, blah.
Why can't you use them in court?
Because you cannot illegally record someone without their
knowledge.
Right. But, so here's the thing. So she was fired from her job. And the day after she was fired, the president called her and told her that he was sad about it. And there's audio of this. Said he was sad about it and he, wished that, whatever.
Know about it. He
didn't know about it. Yeah, I just heard. I didn't know what was going on. Blah blah blah. And then in his tweet this morning, he basically pretends, or maybe this is the way he's always felt, like he never liked her and never wanted her to work for him, and was happy that she got fired. Although his call to her is the exact opposite. So either he's lying now or he was lying then. And if he was lying then, why on God's green earth would he be as despicably deplorable as to say something like, call her a dog? Like, come on, dude. That
is his go-to.
It's petty and childish.
It is his go-to, though. Whenever he always attacks the way someone looks, their weight, height, attractiveness. That is his go-to insult. as per usual. Thomas says, I was surprised this stuff seems to bounce off of him.
It does. He just fucking bounces off. He's still the president. He has admitted to sexually molesting women. He has admitted to being a fucking pig. He's admitted to colluding with Russia. He is still openly colluding with Russia. And yet, he's still the president. He has fired everyone who has tried to investigate him, and yet he is still the president.
One of the, with one exception, there's one guy left at the FBI that was part of the original Russia investigation team. Everybody else has been fired. There's only one guy left.
If this had happened 15 years ago, we're talking Bush administration. We're not even talking about President Obama at this point. If this had happened, or Clinton, we're talking about another Republican president. If Bush Jr. had done this, the entire nation would be up in fucking arms, including the GOP and their entirety of the right wing. They all would have been, how the fuck dare you? What happened? What happened to our fucking country? Where it's acceptable for our president to be friendly with our sworn fucking enemy. When you stand up and you're like, fuck socialism, fuck, capitalism, not fuck capitalism, clearly we're America, let's not go crazy here, but they're like, fuck socialism and fuck those people. You guys realize that's what Russia is, right? Like, Russia is everything you hate, and yet you're happy our president is making amends with him. North Korea is everything that you hate, and yet you're happy that our president is suddenly friendly with a guy he called a child a year ago.
I don't know if the public per se is happy, but really there's not much we can do unless every single one of us gets on the phone and calls our senators and congressmen to do something. Here's
the problem. They are knee deep in that shit with him.
And which is why.
And they're making a fucking fortune off of it.
President Clinton got a fucking blowjob, you guys. That's all.
Yeah.
He got a fucking Hummer in the Oval Office by a pretty decent-looking chick.
By an American.
By an American, yes. And we damn near fired him as fucking president because of it. This guy goes and blows the fucking leader of two leaders. He wraps his dick around his. Let me stop. I'm a little passionate. He wraps his political lips around the political dicks of two leaders of two countries that have threatened to destroy our nation time and time again.
And how much
sucks them off.
How much money have we spent to prevent our election system of being hacked?
Not enough, clearly.
Big old fat goose egg. Not a fucking dime.
And yet, we're okay with our president being, well, we're not okay with it. Most of us are like, fuck
Most of us
guy.
are not okay with it.
And you know whose fault this all is? All those slimy puke motherfuckers out there that didn't vote in the last election.
Yeah.
So you better get your ass up,
and you know who
get
it
out
was
there
that
and
didn't
fucking
vote? It was
and
the
drag
Democrats.
somebody's ass with you.
It was the Democrats. There is clear numbers that show that you Democrats, stop blaming us third-party members. Our numbers did not fucking change. It is the Democrats who did not get out and vote that did vote during the Obama elections. If you had voted in this election, we wouldn't be in this fucking position. I don't really care who you're voting for as long as you're not voting for a Nazi or a white supremacist or some other asshole who wants to turn our country into the way it was 60 years ago when we were beating people in the streets because of the color of their skin. Oh, it's fucking stupid. Just fucking vote, you assholes. You're all standing around going, I hate the way it is right now. Then fucking change it, douchebag. We just had primaries. We have some midterm elections coming up. Do you even know who's on your ballot? Do you know who you're voting for? I don't have much options because I live in unincorporated Clark County, and so we don't really have a whole lot of midterm shit coming up for unincorporated Clark County. It's all city of Las Vegas stuff. But I am voting for what I can for. Vote yes on 3.
Those of you who are local, you can tune in right here to our home base, WWDBTV. There are 2 shows. One is Meet the Candidates with our fabulous, I'm going to just give you a regular name, John Stiles. as the host of that, where he interviews any candidate, and that's free. If you're a candidate and you're running for office, you want to be interviewed, get your word out to people. John doesn't even need to interview. You can sit here and use this as your platform like we do.
We will interview you.
And they are not ambush interviews.
Right.
I work very, very, very hard to keep my mouth shut.
Right.
Especially on the people that I don't agree with. But the whole point of the Meet the Candidate show is to give all of the candidates, any candidate for any office, regardless of their political affiliation, a chance to educate the public.
Right.
We
And
will interview any political person who wants to come on this show from
If-
any
And
district,
veterans in
anywhere.
politics.
If they're
Veterans in
brave enough.
Politics has at least 2 people running for office every single show.
That's where I was going to go next.
Yeah.
You can go to WWDBTV.com and there's a link to the Meet the Candidates page. I think you have 5 up there.
Yeah, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 up there. And then, of course, VIP or Veterans in Politics. Every Saturday, they have a live show. You can talk to local candidates here in Nevada, here in Las Vegas. And you can call in. They love call-ins on that show. But you can see interviews with all of those candidates. So
Dude, just fucking vote, man.
we'd have candidates on this show, but I don't think they'd like it too much.
You know what? I don't give a fuck. If they want to get their word out, if they want to convince me to vote for them, they need to fucking talk to me.
And that's exactly what I tell them. I tell them, just pretend like you're trying to convince me. And what I do with the candidates, I give them 2 options. One is you can sit up there and just spout whatever you want to spout for 30 minutes. The other is give me a list of questions that you'd like me to ask you, and I will feed them to you so that you can, answer the stuff. And like I said, even when I don't agree with them and I think that they're full of shit and they should be locked up with the other fucking Cheeto, I've done pretty well at keeping my mouth shut.
Well, I won't promise any of that. I don't think I can. In good faith,
That's what we should
promise
do. We
that.
should create a show where we dare the candidates to come on and tell them that they're going to get depubed. I mean, you walk in the door and you better be ready for battle.
We are gonna
because
manscape the fuck out of you.
We are going to blister your ass. Let's try that.
Hashtag depubed. I think that'll be our title.
Hashtag depubed. I'm down with that. So anyway, that's enough political talk. That was like almost 15 minutes. That's too fucking much. No matter what party we are affiliated with on this show, at least between the 3 hosts that are on now, do not support the current administration.
I refuse to call him President Trump.
Any of its policies.
I refuse to say the president or President Trump.
Yeah, there is
45.
yet to be a policy to come out of that fucking administration that I was even semi-okay with.
Let's see. Alex says he also called her a dog, referring to Omarosa. Thomas says you can thank partisan new media for that. I think you can thank Fox News.
Yeah, because
CNN, yes, it's partisan. I know it is. I listen to NPR, which is very partisan. I understand that.
Wasn't
But
it like 4 or 5 years ago, right in that area, when there was this whole big thing about Fox News was not a news channel, that it was an entertainment channel?
yeah.
They do have actual segments, like half-hour segments where they give you the news, and it's pretty straightforward. But everything else, they're shows.
Right.
It's shows hosted by people. Even though it looks like it's in a newsroom,
Right.
it shows. CNN has become that.
Right.
So I can understand the partisan belief that CNN is news. But if you're just watching straight news, it's not like that. Headline News is one of my favorite channels because they usually don't do the little show things.
Yeah. So here's the thing about partisan news. Fox started it. Like, seriously. CNN was pretty boring as fuck up until Fox News decided to get real crazy. It was about 5 or 6 years ago. Nope. It was closer to 10 years ago when President Obama first started running for office and everything. That's when Fox News went fucking ape shit. I'm going to say that's when I start remembering Fox News coming up regularly as, do you really think these motherfuckers are for real as a news agency? And I was like, God, no. There's people talking about conspiracy theories on something called a news network. This is other than it being like a tongue-in-cheek report on crazies.
How about the meme where you see the girl holding the poster that says, I get my news from or from the Daily Report, and I get my comedy from Fox News.
Yeah. The other news media outlets had to retaliate. The universe hates a vacuum, and a vacuum of conservative right-wingedness happened, and so it was simply nature that left-wingedness would come out to try to balance it the fuck out. And now you are stuck with media outlets that are seriously partisanly divided, and there is no moderate anymore. NPR used to be like the left wing, and now it's the moderate. Like, if you want moderate news reporting these days, you gotta go through fucking NPR, because everyone else is standing on soapbox 27 stories high throwing fireballs at each other. If you want unadulterated news, do not watch it on TV. Go to the Associated Press. I wouldn't even go that far, because BBC is very left. Go to the Associated Press website. The Associated Press website cannot do anything but give you the news.
I like foreign news services to give me American news.
That's why I watch the BBC.
BBC, Canadian news, CBC, which Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Love those guys too.
Yeah.
I love seeing an outsider's view of what we
go
are.
outside this country and watch the news. It's fascinating.
If you want some news about America and what other countries really think about it, watch Al Jazeera America.
Right?
Watch some of their reports on America, and you will be fucking embarrassed.
I follow them on
it.
Facebook.
Remind yourself that they are really, really biased. A lot of people try to say they're an unbiased news source. It's Al Jazeera America.
Yeah.
They are super duper fucking biased against America, and I mean, they're pretty brutally honest about the bullshit that happens over here, but it is biased, and it's reported from a biased standpoint.
My favorite is Who is America?
I don't know that one.
It's
What is that?
It's like
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh.
He is trolling the shit out.
When Toxic comes back, she wants to do a segment on, because she watched that. When you recommended it a couple weeks ago, she watched it. So, Morning Express, I'm gonna assume, William, that is a local show. The reason that I don't really bash on Fox News too much is because Fox News, the actual news, and not those little singular insular shows, is actually news. The local Fox 5 affiliate, they do great. I think they do a great job.
That's because they're not Sinclair.
I personally, NBC is Sinclair out here. I personally totally love the local Fox News station. I've been interviewed by them, and they are warm and welcoming and inviting and inclusive, which is super awesome. So watch your local Fox stations. Stay the fuck off of Fox News Network. Oh, and watch Fox Sports. Great Fox.
Or
great
just be
sports
sure you're watching the news part, and not Hannity or what? Did Hannity get fired like O'Reilly did, or? Just make sure you're watching the news portion.
The president hasn't fired him yet.
All right. Any other public political stuff that you want to talk about before we move into social issues?
I thought we got off politics 10 minutes ago.
We didn't. Clearly we're still talking about fucking Fox News.
Oh, it's because we had
that it is so invasive today that everything is political.
Yeah. Well, if there are more than this is one of the things I hear. Okay, let me start over.
Yeah.
One of the things that I hear a lot, that it doesn't upset me, but I want to correct people so badly, is when they say, I don't watch the news because I hate politics. Politics is pervasive in every part of your life. If there is more than two people in a room,
you got politics.
There is politics. So I know what you're saying your definition of politics is having to do with candidates and stuff like that, but that's not what politics is. It is the interplay, the social interplay between two or more people. So To say that you don't like politics is to say that you don't like interplay between other people, which I can be that way. I can be that misanthropic. I will stay home and not go out to a party or to an event because I just don't want to be around other people.
I love the interplay between people.
Well, you know,
Lots
when
of people.
we were growing up, they told us there's two things you don't talk about, religion and politics. And I think that was the biggest mistake that this country has ever made.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that we should be talking about more than anything.
In a civil manner.
In a civil
It should
manner.
be, but when you're with your family, you can't. Politics is not allowed at my house. My mom will start it even though she made the rule because myself and my stepdad constantly argue about it. Constantly. But there's no budging either of us. And that's why you should not have those discussions around supposedly a family dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
Because there's no budging and it's just hurt feelings and distraught
Adjust my boob.
family. And so I can fully understand that. I can fully understand the social niceties of not discussing.
Because we have been conditioned that way.
So I am able to, my father is right wing, but not super crazy right wing. He's been Republican for as long as I can remember, although I think I remember him being Democratic as a kid, but whatever. We've been able to have some intelligent discussions about politics with each other because we're willing to not just jump to the conclusion that the other person is wrong because of their opinion. We're willing to listen to each other's opinions. Even if it doesn't sway our own, we're still at least willing to listen and understand. For instance, we had a discussion when the porn star lady came out and said I got paid hush money to not talk about the fact that I banged the current administration's chief of bullshittery, and my dad and I were having a discussion about it, and he was like, I don't know why everyone's up in arms. Like everybody was okay with Clinton getting a blowjob in the Oval Office, and I'm like, nobody's up in arms about the fact that he paid this chick.
That's it right there. Nobody's different. It's everybody's making an issue about that. It's not. It's he paid her off with campaign funds, supposedly.
It's not even that.
And
What most people are upset about, what most people should be upset about, what the right-wing conservative Republicans should be upset about, that they're not upset about, is that he has repeatedly said that he is a good, moral, upstanding Christian and that he follows traditional Christian family values.
Hypocrisy.
And then he pays off a hooker that look, I don't give a crap if she's a hooker. I'm not banging on sex workers. I know a lot of you guys, you're pretty normal, regular people. You just have sex for a living. He pays a woman off to not talk about having had sex with him, and then turns around and is a fucking hypocrite and talks shit about Clinton getting a blowjob in the Oval Office and all these other people, and then talking about how he's a fine, moral, upstanding Christian dude.
And
I'm like,
evangelicals think he's the second coming.
Some
it's
evangelicals.
He's a Hippocratic turd nugget. Like, how on earth can you say he represents my political values when he doesn't even represent your moral values? Like, oh, anyway, my father and I were able to have a conversation, and that was when I put it, I was like, you get that the liberals aren't mad that he paid somebody off. The liberals are mad that he's a hypocrite, and the Republicans just don't care. Like, there would have been murder in the streets had it come to find out Obama paid someone off. Not that he would, because Michelle would kick his ass. He is afraid of his wife.
Well,
he should be.
Well,
She's
think
an
about
ass.
what the Republicans keep putting up for elections. We had that pedophile guy down in that one state, whatever. Last week we did a story on Riggleman, who is fully affiliated with neo-Nazi KKK people.
Thank you for not bringing up the porn, because we should not shame anyone for their weird porn tastes. If we shamed people for their weird porn tastes, y'all be shaming me all goddamn day.
Well, we talked about that last week.
Isn't that one of the biggest businesses on the internet?
The weirder the porn, the more money it makes.
Rule 34?
Absolutely.
But these are the caliber of people that Republicans have been putting up for elections.
These are who you support. These are the people you're going to go out and vote for. Pedophiles, rapists, molesters.
Yeah, but
These
they
are
go
the
to
people
church,
you
so
want.
that's okay.
Oh yeah, they go to church every Sunday. They ask God for forgiveness every Sunday. I hate to tell you guys this, but I really don't think your God is that forgiving. Y'all need to go back and read you some Old Testament. I'm not even Christian.
Well, I think that's the difference. So it's the Catholics that get confession every Sunday and they get forgiven for everything. But America is more Christian
We're more
oriented,
Protestant, yeah.
and Jesus already died for your sins. So just do whatever you want, and Jesus take care of it
Man,
for you.
That is not a moral and ethical life. If Jesus came back right now, he'd be hanging with my people, because at least we are donating charities and monies and not like bashing people because of the color of their skin or their gender. We are loving man as our neighbor and as we would love our own brother.
Thomas says the religious right has given him so many bogeys.
They have. It's so fucking stupid.
Was it you who told me that? What's the Westboro? Was it you who told me that Westboro people don't like Donald Trump?
No.
No,
They
it
do
wasn't
not.
you that told me?
No, I'm the one who told you that.
Okay.
Yes, they do not. The Westboro Baptist Church regularly protests against the president because he is divorced and remarried, and they consider that adultery.
And then I think in our conversation I said something like the enemy of our enemy is our
No.
friend.
They're still our enemy. The enemy, my enemy, is still my enemy, but on this one instance, we agree. So as long as they're just out there with like Trump is an adulterer, get him out of office, I'm fine with that. As soon as they start screaming at soldiers' funerals again, I'm not so good with that. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about your son started school this week.
Yes. So, in a lot of the West Coast, for whatever fucking reason, school started 2 weeks earlier than it normally does. So he started school on Monday, which it's 7th grade. It's not like a big transitionary grade. Like 6th grade was the entrance
That's
into
impossible.
middle school. Yeah, he's in 7th grade now. Johnny's known him since this kid was in kindergarten. Yeah.
He's taller than you now.
Yeah. I gotta bring him in so he can hang out.
Blows my mind.
He,
I'm fucking old.
yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
No.
We went clothes shopping. This year he has to wear standard student attire, which is basically a uniform for public school.
I love that public school has uniforms.
Not all of them. Each
Right.
school gets to opt into it. Parents get to
Right.
vote. And it was almost a unanimous parental vote to allow standard student attire. And here's the reason. It's cheaper, and we live in sort of a lower end income level neighborhood. We're middle class, but kind of on the lower end of that. Like half of us qualify for reduced lunches, but not free lunches. Like that's how that's the neighborhood I live in. It's cheaper for us to have standard student attire. We only need to buy 5 shirts. That's it. And if a shirt gets ruined, we only need to buy 1 shirt, and that's if, we don't feel like doing laundry every 3 or 4 days. And then jeans. They did not require khaki pants. They said jeans would be fine, no rips, no holes, no frayed edges. And there was no logos, no slogans, no sayings. Kids didn't have to choose. They didn't say what kind of shirt they had to wear. Just that it had to be one of 4 colors and collared. So they could have done a button down or they could have done a polo. My kid opted for polos because they're easier. There's less buttons. If it's easy, that's what my kid wants to do.
So the reason I wanted to talk about this a little bit is because you're teaching your child subtle rebellion.
Subtle subversiveness.
I love the red shoes.
Yeah. So
And let me tell you why I love the red shoes. I used to have to work, or I didn't have to, I worked for Riverside County in California.
Mm-hmm.
I had to wear a 3-piece suit to work. But my ties were the weirdest, loudest, freakiest ties I could find.
and that's kind
And
of
when I saw the thing about the red shoes, I went, yeah, all
That-
right, kid.
that's kind of what I'm teaching him, is that it's okay to follow the rules and still be an individual.
Yes.
Like you can still be in a uniform and have your own personality. So I'm 100% on board with the school uniform because that is less shit I have to buy. And then that also meant that we could put that money into some quality shoes for him to wear instead of having to buy, $100 worth of clothes. We could spend $40 on clothes and spend $60 on shoes, which would mean we'd get better quality shoes, last them the rest of the year, which is what we did.
At least 3 months till he outgrows them.
Well, here's the thing. His feet grow slow. He doesn't get wider, he just gets taller, and it's literally all in his legs. He's wearing the same t-shirts he wore last year. They're not too short or too thin on him, but all of his pants were like 2 inches too short for him. He's just growing in the legs. So what we decided was, I was like, you need to find a way. I really push him to show off his personality, almost to the point where he's just like, I just want to wear black all the time because I really don't want to deal with you being crazy. He opted for bright red Converse shoes. We love Converse in our household because they will outlast the kid. Converse and Vans, those are the shoes we go with. We spend a little extra money on shoes that I'm not buying 3 pairs of $20 shoes throughout the year. I can buy 1 pair of $40 shoes and it's okay. He has these bright red Converse shoes, which is absolutely out of the norm for him, and he loves them. It's a way to show him, like I said, you can conform to all of the rules that society gives you and still be an individual. You can still show off your individual personality without being anarchist about it. There are some
Over the top anarchist about it.
There are some people who are so against, you know, being part of normative society that they will go out of their way to be out of the normal. And I don't give a fuck. If you want to be fucking crazy and weird, that's fine, but that's exactly how people are going to see you, as crazy and weird. You got to be super fucking intelligent or really fucking nice to pull that off, because if you are a dick, you are just a fucking asshole. That's it. You're an asshole who dresses fucked up. What I'm teaching my kid is you can conform and still be non-conforming. It is important for us to work together as a society. And sometimes that means we have to kind of do all the same things together. We have to be normal. And I hate the word normal because there's no such thing as normal.
Non-normal people usually don't vote.
Right. Non-normal people don't vote. Non-normal people do weird, fucked up shit that lands them in prison. Or they don't have healthy relationships with people. Or they don't know how to interact with other people in society. So they never are able to complete what they want to complete, to do the things they want to do. They can't get the job they want because they're unwilling to conform to a societal standard that allows them, like, if you work in an office, you got to dress like you work in an office. You can find a way to be subtly subversive about it. I used to wear cow dresses to work when I could wear dresses to work, and that's, I don't know if you know what cow dresses are, but they got some prints on them that'll question your fucking sanity. And I used to wear those to work. Now I wear jeans and a work polo to work, and I wear crazy shoes, or I show off my tattoos, or whatever it is that I do when I want to do it. You know, I drive a minivan. I drive a standard white American-made minivan with as many subversive fucking decals on the back as I possibly can. I also have all those little stupid oval travel stickers. I got those all over.
Let me ask you a question. Since he started school, I think it's like 2 weeks early, right?
Yeah.
Is he going to get out of school 2 weeks early?
He'll be out of school before June starts.
So the school year hasn't changed.
No.
They just decided to start it early.
Yeah, which makes no sense, especially in this state. Our kids are walking to and from school right now in 110 plus degree heat.
Well, it's not much different on August 31st than it is on August 15th.
Those
but-
schools
Actually,
probably
traditionally-
smell pretty rank.
Whew, those teenagers are funky. I have walked into a room full of 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds before. Oh, it's not pretty. Actually, by the end of August, we're out of the 110s. We're usually mostly in the upper 90s. That's not going to kill you for a 15-minute walk. 115 degrees, 110 degrees can kill you in a 15-minute walk if you are not properly hydrated. Boy.
William says, even in the military, you can wear the uniform and still be an individual.
Yes, you can. I did it. Everybody I knew did it. I was in the Army. We all wore the same fucking clothes. We all had the same fucking hair. We all wore the same fucking glasses. Jesus Christ, those things were ugly. But we still, what it forced us to do was be individuals in our personality. It required us to put forth effort in our individual personalities.
I think that's a great insight. A lot of people just don't want to put the effort out. They
just
they
wanna
either go all out or they 100% conform, and then complain about not being able to be an individual.
Yeah, and the people who go like super crazy and like do the crazy things with their hair and do the crazy things with their clothes and their faces and the other things that they do, like I said, you got to be either really smart or really nice to pull that shit off. Because if you're an asshole and you look like that, you are just an asshole.
And that eye ring is just going to get yanked out next time you get in a fight. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my god! But sometimes those people who go all the way to that end, we're going to talk about a spectrum here. You're either one end or the other, and that's the way we are politically right now, and that's the way we are kind of societally. It's like you have to be this super duper extreme individual, otherwise you're not being an individual. And I'm like, at this point you're conforming with a standard again. But some of those people don't put any effort into their personality. They just dress weird and do weird things and have zero personality. And that's like, well, I don't even want to have a conversation with you. I know people who look like sideshow freaks with all of the modifications they've done to themselves, some of the smartest, nicest people, and I will sit down and have hours-long conversations with them. Some people look like sideshow freaks and have zero personality and nothing to fucking talk about other than...
just as superficial as they look.
They're just as superficial as they look.
Yep.
Yeah. Work on your personalities.
On that note, watch Corey Taylor's show from today.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll have it up by the end of the day tomorrow.
So,
Had an interesting guest.
we'll have to do that.
Who was the guest?
Aussie Blood.
Aussie Blood.
Oh, he's a local.
Okay. Next I have,
Nice kid.
coming up in October, I believe, is your high school
My
reunion.
20th. I did not go to my 10th or my 15th. 10th, I think I had a paying gig. 15th, I didn't give a shit. Also, both of them were close to $200 a ticket, and I was like, no, fuck that. This one's going to be a little bit cheaper because I think we finally all reached a point where we're like, we can't party like we used to, so let's just all get together, have some Italian food, and go home.
I think I must have been completely blind when I was in high school. Oh, very cool. And,
Nice and smart, at least? Good.
Nice kid.
so
Great conversation.
a couple of years ago, I think my 25th high school reunion came up or something like that. And I can't remember who I was with, but we were going to go. And we pull up in the parking lot, and it's being held over off of Spring Mountain, you know, where that porn store is, in that warehouse district area or something. And I swear to God, it looked like a party for gang people. And we sat in the car, and we just watched the people go in and out. And my school, in my year there, in 85 when I graduated, did not look like that I know of. So maybe either I was blind in school,
Probably.
but we didn't even get out of the car. We just turned around and went to Denny's, I think, to go get some
I wouldn't blame
pancakes.
you. If I roll up on my 20th reunion and it looks like a bunch of fucking hood rats hanging out there, fuck that. I got better things to spend $100 on. Like, I'll take the whole family out to dinner, not just myself.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, so
Not that I really liked anybody in school.
Yeah, my 20th reunion is coming up, and one person who was a pretty good friend of mine, we were in orchestra together, she's kind of on the committee, and I volunteered to help out, but they've only had one meeting, and I don't know, fuck it. At this point, I'm letting them plan it, and I'll just show up, maybe. If it's going to be more than $100, I ain't showing up. I'll go to the game, and I'll go to, like, the tailgate or barbecue thing they got planned, but the actual, like, reunion party, I probably won't go to that.
Have you ever gone to any of your high school reunions or college or anything like that?
Yes.
Yeah? And did you enjoy
Yes.
them?
Is your microphone on?
Yes. The only one that I went to was my 40th, and that was a trip, and it was one of those ones that broke my heart.
Oh.
Broke my heart. There was I went to Hollywood High School in Hollywood, California. And this was back in the 60s, the early 60s, so there was a lot going on. The most gorgeous, absolutely phenomenally beautiful girl in the school was Rory Flynn, who was Errol Flynn's granddaughter. At the 40th reunion, this poor woman had had so much work done.
Plastic surgery,
on
you
her
mean?
Face. that it just, I mean, she looked like,
Joan Rivers.
No, Joan Rivers
Joan-
doesn't even look that bad.
Yeah.
We're talking like, who's that chick that does the? She looks like
that's the
fucking
one
cat
that wants to
lady
look
now.
like a cat.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
used
kinda-
to do.
kinda like that.
She still does. She channels some spirit. What the fuck, Jay-Z Knight? Have you seen how bad she looks these days?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna get you a picture.
Anyway, so what broke my heart about it was that made me realize more than anything how invested women are in their looks. And that I just felt like, did you not have something in your life that made you feel worthwhile that you had to do that? You know, it just
That is
it
sad
was
to
telling.
see.
But
Yeah.
I mean, there was some great friends that I hadn't seen in years and years and years. We had an awesome party, and
Were you like the popular kind of kid in school, or?
no, it was kind of, I mean, I was kind of like in between. I wasn't an outcast, but I wasn't one of the most popular. My best friend was on the football team, so you know we used to hang all the time. But you know, I was kind of like, a lot of people knew me only because I was like kind of a class clown, always shooting off my mouth and causing trouble and raising hell.
Looks good.
But
Compared to what she looked like
So-
in the 80s, she was fucking adorable in the 80s.
In 2008, I think it was when Facebook started to become kind of popular.
right.
And I remember making an account, and then I left it because I was so used to MySpace, so I just went back to my MySpace. But in 2009, MySpace kind of like fizzled out, and everybody was over on Facebook.
Wait. I got one for you. GeoCities.
I remember GeoCities,
Yeah.
but GeoCities wasn't a sharing site
No.
like a Facebook or a MySpace.
Yeah, what's that? You could create your own
Create your own web page.
web page.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Oh yeah, I did tons of research off of GeoCity pages, and I remember the only friends, and I remember in 2008 the only people that wanted to be my friends were people from high school who never liked me anyway.
And you're like, fuck these fuckers.
I mean, I
I'll friend
accepted.
you anyway.
I accepted their friend requests and everything, but I'm constantly thinking to myself, "Why are you friending me? We were not friendly in high
Yeah.
school."
Yeah.
I did, however, reconnect with my very best friend from high school, who we spent our junior and senior year together. We were on the golf team. We were like the dynamic team to beat on the golf team or whatever. And her last name was one letter different than my first name. And we tried to sleep with coaches together. We went to parties together. We did all kinds of crazy we would go to the football games together. It was crazy. I friended her, I found her, friended her, and less than 2 weeks later, she unfriended me. Because I was pagan. And she was ultra-right Christian. So I said, what the fuck's the point? And then I started adding friends from work.
Yeah.
And that was perfectly fine because all the people that I worked with I loved. So,
Yeah.
and they had no issues with me being pagan, so I wasn't worried about it, you know. But
So we actually should do a show. You know, and I was going to ask you guys this before. I'd like you to come on my show,
sure.
and I really would like
Wait,
to
as
come
us for realsies or as us on Sin City Bounty?
on pagan.
On being pagan,
pagan.
okay.
So for
Yeah.
realsies, okay.
Yeah. So because I mean in my opinion, and I don't know a lot about it, but I think that it is people think that you're devil worshippers.
Oh yeah, I love the devil.
Yeah. So it's
You know why I love the devil? Because more Christians worship him than Satanists.
yes.
I love the concept of what the devil is.
My point is that I think, like all religions, it's really misunderstood. Nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about.
It is one of the #1 growing religions in the United
world.
States.
But
in the
is it-
world,
and that's my other question. Is it a religion?
Yeah.
it depends. There are, just like Christianity, there are multitudes of denominations.
Okay.
We are one particular denomination
Of paganism
of
or
Yeah.
Wicca.
Wicca.
Right.
Wicca is a recognized, federally recognized.
Wait!
religion.
Isn't that didn't the Fonzie the bear on the Muppets start
No,
that?
that's Waka Waka,
Oh,
not Wicca Wicca.
Sam says, I doubt I'd ever go to one of my high school reunions for a number of reasons, but primarily because I hung out with maybe 2 people in my class. Everyone else I spent time with by my senior year had graduated already. So.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends ahead of me in high school, and I had a lot of friends, well, I knew a lot of people in high school because I was in a lot of activities. For an introvert goth, I was really very involved with a lot of activities. I was in the pep club.
You were a goth in the pep club.
I was a goth in the pep club. There is nothing quite like seeing a girl with jet black hair.
That should be the title of our show. Goth in the pep club.
Just head to toe, covered in black, 85 silver necklaces on, black nail polish, fucked up, whatever, putting together paper flowers to put on the homecoming float. Like, that was that was who I was. I was in the pep club, I was in the sign language club, I was in the orchestra. Like, I was in a lot of stuff. I knew a lot of people. But after I graduated, I don't think I actually stayed friends with more than one person, and I am close acquaintances with maybe 2 others, maybe.
Did you guys see the you get these memory things that pop up on your Facebook page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see the one that I posted yesterday or the day before?
No.
Which was?
I think I put on something like Disco Fever.
Nope.
No.
Had the afro.
Oh, no, I did not see that.
I just want to let everybody out there know that if you don't like my Facebook page or my Instagram or my Twitter, just get off of it. Just unfriend me. I don't care. When my BFF from high school unfriended me, I didn't even know until I went to go send her a message and we weren't friends. And I was a little upset because she didn't even have the common courtesy to tell me.
Yeah.
Right? I'm a very forthright kind of person. I've become that as I've matured. If I need to know something, I will ask you directly. You be more than you don't have to. If you can't handle it in your personality, then you don't have to. But I would appreciate a little courtesy of why you don't want to be my friend anymore.
I had someone recently unfriend me, and I don't know when it happened because I only, again, just discovered it because although we were no longer on speaking terms, I'd still like to keep tabs on them because, they were my friend at some point. Like, I don't hate that person. Well, fucking pissed off at them because whatever. But to vague book it, they unfriended me a month and a half after we stopped talking to each other. And I'm like, seriously? What, you just woke up one day and you were like, oh, I haven't heard from this person for a while. I should make sure I never hear from this person for a while.
How many people are you friends with on Facebook or any of the other social medias, and the only reason you're friends with them is to keep track of the shit they're doing?
Oh, there's a lot. I can think of one right off the top of my fucking head that I friend requested a million years ago, like at the very beginning of all the Facebook shit. And there's never really been any direct interaction between us, but then this person started making comments about my hometown, and deplorable comments about my hometown, and I was like, what the fuck, asshole? And so now we stay friends because I screenshot the fuck out of their shit all the time, and I save that because one day they're going to slip the fuck up, and I'm going to be like, listen, you intolerant cunt nugget. These are the deplorable things you said about people. Human fucking beings, you absolute douchebag. But then I think they realized that I was spying on them because then they suddenly started commenting and liking my shit, and I was like, oh, they know. But they haven't unfriended me yet, so...
I have a couple that...
yeah, I keep tabs on a couple of people.
Friends with on Facebook only because I know how much it pisses them off when I post certain things. And it's like I'll post something and I'll just do a countdown like 5, 4, 3, 2. There it is.
Some people that I know I disagree with, I will keep, but there are some people that you are friends with that we know mutually that I've actually blocked on Facebook because I cannot handle the level of drama, even if it's not in my own feed, even if it's just on their feed, because you know that shit bleeds over.
Yeah.
Like,
Sometimes I'll get notification that you commented on something because I have you starred as one of my best friends or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I just think the whole like friends on social media thing is funny because on the one hand I'm like, who should give a fuck? And then on the other I'm like, fuck you for unfriending me, you fucking asshole. Fuck you. I haven't done fucking shit. I have followed the fucking rules. I have played by the fucking rule book. Fuck you. And I shouldn't be that upset. I should not be that upset. I don't even know why I am that upset. And I'm not now. Now I am laughing at myself. A couple of days ago though, woo! Oh, fuck that.
How often do you start typing something
Oh,
and then you go, worth it.
we have done that together.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
seen a post and I'll type it. I'm like, well, how's that sound? Oh, that's good. Okay.
We
No.
write posts together.
It
I have
ain't
taken
worth it.
screenshots of what I have typed and sent it to these two and be like, is this acceptable? Can I hit post?
Because you know it's a waste of time.
It is.
It's just, they're going to go, what?
It is. Yeah, there's. I also have quite a few people that I am still friends with on Facebook,
To keep tabs on?
only to keep tabs on what the fuck they're doing. Yeah.
I'm friends with pretty much all my exes.
I'm a big fan of keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Enemies closer.
Funny thing is, none of my exes are on Facebook.
Really?
Yeah, at least none that I can find. No, that's not true. One of my exes is on Facebook, and after we broke up, he unfriended me, and I believe blocked me.
William says, I had to block a member of my own family for the same reason. Danica says, girl, that is SPIRIT.
It is spirit.
For the goth and the pub club.
SPIRIT, spirit. Let's hear it. Yes. I was also in the color guard in band.
Ooh.
Marching band. I was a flag flipper.
Ooh.
Yes.
This,
Do we get extra minutes?
In high school,
Uh-huh.
all right, I was in ROTC, and I was on the color guard that got to lead the Hollywood Christmas Lane Parade one year.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like 1963, 63 or 64.
I'm kind of hoping my kid's a band geek and he plays a very rare instrument in band and he's really good at it. And so I'm hoping like he ends up being in like those kinds of things because I'm going to be like, sorry, can't come to work today. We're going to DC to play for the president. Bye.
All right, that's what number did you just hold up?
Hopefully that'll be the next president.
It better be.
So that's going to be it for this show. Hopefully we weren't too boring with no topics whatsoever.
Nothing prepared, really.
We had nothing prepared. Oh, let's talk about that. Oh, let's talk about that. Okay. And hopefully Johnny Fever's voice is on the video on YouTube, Thomas.
Because otherwise it just looks like we're staring at
Hear
the
me
camera.
now.
If you really like our show, if we make you smile every Tuesday night, please consider supporting us over on Patreon. $5 gets you into the super secret Facebook group. We just added William, who's in the chat here. Thank you very much, William. We owe you a razzing on your name because, so we're going to take care of that when Toxie gets back. That's over on Patreon. Just type in SinCityBounty in Google search, and you can find us on all our social medias.
Everywhere.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, of course.
If you don't already, subscribe to this page. Click on the little bell icon so you can get notifications when we put up our new fancy video on YouTube. You Facebook fuckers, you need to follow us. Put us up on show first and your notifications. Please share this video with your friends unless you don't want them to unfriend you on Facebook. because
I
they
have a
probably
suggestion for your Patreon page.
What's that?
Okay, for $10 a month, or for $10, you will say you can have whoever donates $10, they can make up a name for 45 that you guys will use at least 3 times on the next show.
will. And that's too much work. We just give them we just fuck with them about their name. That's what we do.
So next week when Toxie gets back, William will get the full-on Raz treatment. He even sent us information that we can Raz on him about.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
He used to be a squid. Is that what they call?
Oh, yeah.
Is that the negative term for a Navy guy?
Well, it's one of them.
He was a squid.
It was a
Yeah,
squid.
I tried to join the Navy, but they found out my parents were married.
Yeah.
All right, I'm Alexia,
I'm Sierra.
and that's
Later, bitches.
What,
Your
he's totally
name.
off. Your name.
Oh,
is
my
Barry,
name.
Yeah,
This is Johnny Fever.
and we will be back next week.
if you're brave enough.
Later bitches.